Welcome to the Quiet Knowing Podcast, a place for stories of inner wisdom, intuition, and divine guidance. I keep saying divine guidance.
It's all right. We're getting our wiggles out now.
I'm Nick.
And I'm Kendall.
And this is where we listen to that quiet voice within, the one that often gets overlooked, yet always knows the way.
In each episode, we meet with teachers, healers, mystics, and creatives who have followed that inner guidance into the unknown. Together, we explore the intersections between psychology and spirituality and the unseen threads that guide us towards living in alignment with our soul's truth.
In this first episode, we're just going to introduce ourselves a little bit and talk about kind of the goals and the point of the podcast. Yeah. So what is the podcast even about? Like, where did that phrase of the quiet knowing come from and what it means and everything?
There's kind of two different reasons why I wanted to make this podcast. The first being that I've just met so many amazing, teachers in the last year or two, just amazing souls who have so much knowledge. And I really wanted to highlight them somehow in a podcast and learn more about them, kind of feature them so that they can be exposed more and other people can learn from them as well. And then for the inner knowing name, that came from, or the idea of the podcast came from my own experience. So back when I was going through my divorce, I was an atheist. I actually grew up Christian, but when I was going through my divorce, I was an atheist. But I kept having this voice in my mind that, not a literal voice, but it was like an inner knowing that everything was happening for a reason, that things were moving, and that I just needed to trust this voice. And that was the first time that I really experienced that kind of inner knowing coming out so clearly. And I trusted it. And the more that I trust it in my life, the more things seem to flow and just get better. I've just started to live in alignment with this voice. And it's like this really beautiful thing. So I wanted to talk to other people who have experienced the same kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And it may mean something a little bit differently to everyone. That's one question that I think I'm going to start every podcast with is, what is the inner knowing for you? For me, the inner knowing is my higher self. It's the highest version of myself that I communicate with. But for someone else, it might be like their spirit guides or their angels or just God himself or whatever. Mm-hmm. So for me, it's source or my higher self that I communicate with, that I feel like is guiding me through my life. Yeah. So that's what I want to start asking you is, what is the quiet knowing for you? If you even have an answer for that.
Yeah, I have an answer for that. But first, I just want to say that I'm really excited about doing this because, like you said, all the great, spiritually minded people that we've been meeting recently, and I just want to get to know all of them and know all of their stories. And being able to record them, I think, is going to be really special. Yeah. And so whenever you first started talking about quiet knowing, it brought me back to when I was like a little kid, maybe like 7 or something, and I saw so many people around me just making terrible decisions. And just me having this awareness, and it's always easy, on the outside looking in on something, of that's not the right thing to do. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I grew up Catholic and was always kind of spiritually minded, though I didn't exactly resonate and never felt like it was my place in the Catholic Church. But, regardless, it's good to have some sort of spiritual foundation to open up the door to that sort of thing. So, I would always just kind of know what the right thing to do was. And though when you're in the heat of something, especially as a little kid, you're not always listening,
Yeah.
And when you hear it, there's other more animalistic things that are driving you that keep
When
you
you
from
say the
doing.
right things to do, are you saying like the right things to do for you, or like the conditioned part of yourself, like right and wrong kind of?
Yeah, I guess I just mean the loving thing to do,
I
you know?
see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. I wasn't sure if it was coming from a place of like, oh, that's bad, but it's like
No.
just like,
No. Yeah.
polarity, or
Yeah.
is that the right word?
Yeah. Kendall and I are married.
Yeah. Yep, we're married. We got married 2 years ago. We just celebrated our 2-year wedding anniversary. Yep.
Why do you say wedding anniversary?
Because in my mind, I'm like, we've been together 4 years, so I'm like weird. I like to celebrate in my head like our original anniversary and the wedding marriage anniversary.
Yeah. It sounds like that's not a long time to be together before getting married or whatever.
But when we met, we felt like we already knew each other our whole lives.
Yeah. We had so much understanding for each other. We've had like kind of similar lives in like our traumas and what we've gone through and like our creative ambitions and everything. And
we recognize each other's souls,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, we had both already been married before and like kind of knew what we wanted exactly and had been going through a ton of like just self and in general psychological study and really understood like the human experience a lot more, which allowed us to be super understanding in the things that we were still struggling with, which was so helpful to like have someone like that when I'm like,
I know.
Oh, like I messed something up and like in my previous, relationship, I would have been like in the doghouse, like in trouble, like just made to feel terrible.
Yeah.
But you were just like loving towards me, which helped me like reprogram both like my conscious and subconscious so much.
Yeah.
And brought me so much peace.
And one of my beliefs is like, there's a lot of healing that you can do, but there are some things that can only heal through a relationship. And when Nick and I met, and like the first like 2 years we were together, I was triggered all the time, and I was basically projecting like past experiences onto our relationship, and he was so understanding and like knew that like even when I was in my triggered crazy state, like that wasn't me, and we worked through a lot together, and it's just so nice to like not have that anymore.
And you were still like very much so kind of developing your spiritual side at that time.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, is that kind of sparked by John Glanville's program?
Yeah.
Helps you think about that.
So John Glanville, he's actually going to be one of our guests, which I'm really excited about. He has this online course. It's called the Calmness in Mind series. And it's all about OCD, anxiety, and depression. And I went through that course after my divorce. And at that point, I was still looking at it from mostly a psychological perspective.
You were struggling with those sorts of things.
Yeah, I had an anxiety disorder, but I healed so much from that. And I'm really excited for him to be on here because he is I'm pretty sure he's just like the most intelligent guy that's ever lived. So like, that's just my opinion. But anyway, you guys can see what you think. But the more I like move through healing and everything, the more I'm like, he is a genius. Like the way he crafted that thing. But you know what's amazing about this? And this is what we're going to talk about when he's on. He didn't know what he was going to do before he did it. You know what I mean? He was listening to his quiet knowing, his inner compass, and that's how he developed it. But it's this beautifully crafted course. And as you go through it, I mean, not that everyone would find spirituality through it, but it definitely helped me kind of. I started to realize that psychology and spirituality are one and the same, which is actually something that you told me whenever we started dating. You were like, I see them as the same thing, and I was like, what the hell? How? Like, what do you mean?
Yeah, and even like in John's course, the part where he's helping you develop, I'll just say spirituality, or like lack of a belief in something beyond this. Like he helps you find that concrete understanding, even if, the physical is all you believe in. And
Right.
it brings,
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
who believe in that sort of thing, like a lot of peace too.
Yeah.
And I think it is really interesting that, you were going through that. I believe had mostly already healed through my anxiety disorder.
When we met, I had healed a lot, but the relationship stuff I had not healed yet.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, my parents divorced when I was young, and that was like the last thing that I wanted to go through for myself. Just absolutely shameful, but it happened. And afterwards, I wanted to know what the hell like happened to my marriage. How did this even happen? So I started studying relationships and communication and learned a lot. And I at the time was also really dealing with an anxiety disorder and some like digestive disorders. I was diagnosed with social anxiety disorder, autism spectrum disorder, acid reflux, some other gastrointestinal stuff. And one morning, I would wake up every single morning super nauseous, throwing up, dry heaving, diarrhea, like literally everything every morning for like at least an hour. I was like sitting on the toilet and it was terrible. And one day, I woke up and I was like, I don't want to feel like this anymore. I remembered there was a time when I was a kid, and this all started when I was like 10 years old. So I just never thought anything about it.
Yeah.
And but I remembered a time when I didn't experience that, and I knew that I could like heal myself and get back to that.
That's exactly the same kind of moment I had whenever I had gone through my divorce. I was so depressed, and I had already been exposed to John's course, but I wasn't doing it yet. But I had this moment where I was like, I remember how I used to be, and I'm going to do everything and anything I can to get back to that.
Yeah.
And it took full commitment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I started kind of doing stuff that's laid out in John's awesome course. I just kind of intuitively started doing some of the stuff that he teaches. And one day I woke up and I didn't have anxiety anymore. I didn't feel sick anymore. It was crazy. I felt like a brand new person. And, I didn't even know that you could heal from stuff like that, which is something I want to emphasize. And I don't know, we might have to like cut it out later just for like safety purposes or whatever. But there's so much going around online with, oh, you have ADHD. Oh, you're depressed.
So much labeling,
you have, which is good. It allows you to have some like grace for yourself, but you don't want to identify with it because it's not a part of who you are, maybe for like some extreme cases, but I think for most people,
most things can be healed.
It's a state of being that, you got put in that through conditioning, trauma, whatever the case is, and you can heal from it.
Belief systems.
Belief systems.
Beliefisms.
Right. Beliefism. That should be a thing. Beliefism. So that's all I wanted to say about that, though.
Yeah.
That was a really big part of my life.
Yeah. And both of us, like, we both had to have our mental breakdowns in order to kind of have that rebirth, kind of start over and heal. And spirituality is a big part of that. Psychology is a big part of that. So I think both are important. And so I want to highlight both during this.
Yeah. So, Kendall, what would you say a book, quote, or teaching or something along those lines that's really important to you?
Yeah, so obviously John Glanville's course is like number one. But also, in addition to that, some of the teachers that have really made a huge impact on me would be Don Miguel Ruiz and David R. Hawkins. David R. Hawkins, The Map of Consciousness, really understanding kind of the different levels of consciousness and being able to move through those levels is really important. If you understand kind of the consciousness level below you, then you can have more empathy whenever people are behaving within that level. So that is extremely. That book was really that book has been really.
Really extremely.
Really extremely important for me. Yeah. And let's see. I mean, he also just talks about like the levels above you, which is really important for me, because my goal in this lifetime is to get us as close to enlightenment as possible. And so he takes you from the level you're at all the way up to enlightenment. So it's a good roadmap for spiritual seekers who are interested in that path. And then Don Miguel Ruiz, The Mastery of Love, is one of my favorite books because it's all about love. You hear the word love, you think of relationships, but the most important teaching in that book is how to love yourself. And I'm a huge believer that if you love yourself, everything else kind of flows from there. So those have been the most impactful books for me.
Yeah.
Amen. Your turn.
I don't read. No, there's one thing recently that I've been
I can think of one
thinking
for you.
about. What?
Oh, my child, the stars.
What's a quote or idea or whatever from that?
Well, the whole book's amazing.
Yeah.
Just do whatever you're going to say.
Yeah, I can't remember at the moment. Maybe I'll think of it later or something.
He can't remember, but you know what? Maybe by episode 2 he'll remember, and then we'll just spit it out at that point.
Yeah, I would love that.
All right. If your soul could speak directly to the viewers right now and give a message, what would it say?
That's deep.
It is deep.
That's deep.
That's deep.
Maybe, and I guess it's this, because this is what I want to just like tell everybody, is that you can heal.
Yeah.
That's it. Just like
you can heal beyond what you think, what you've been conditioned to believe. Yeah. I get that. Yeah.
How about you?
Mine would be, I have 2, but the one that's coming out right now, this is the one that I got to listen to what's coming through, is trust. Trust in yourself, because there's so many people trying to kind of grab your attention, kind of pay for your to kind of like project their beliefs onto you, but at the end of the day, you need to trust what's within. Trust what's in here. Can I interrupt you? Yeah, go for it.
I wish that as a kid, I had more of that.
Oh, me too.
Because when we had Lou Ferrigno here and he was telling his story, he had so much like trust in himself and knew what he wanted to do and didn't let anybody stop him.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I wish I had that whenever I was his age. When he was, a little kid doing that.
Yeah. I remember there's so many moments where I remember being a kid and someone telling me something and I was like, I think they're wrong, but you know what? Or like, I guess I'll just believe them because they know better than I do. And I gave away so much of myself.
And like the whole American traditional family culture, kind of like a staple of it is codependency.
Yeah.
And like it's seen as like an honorable thing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
it causes a lot of problems.
So trust yourself. Trust yourself. Hopefully people throughout this podcast will be able to learn to differentiate between their ego and their inner knowing.
Yeah.
Their quiet knowing, whatever you want to call it, their intuition. Because that's also important, because your ego will lead you astray. So, yeah.
Wait, you had something else you were going to say.
I did?
Your number one thing that you're sold to communicate.
Yeah, that was the one that was supposed to be. The number 2 is just, love yourself. Just love yourself.
Love yourself.
But like truly,
Respect yourself.
like truly deeply love yourself. Like learn to love yourself. And it's what?
I always think that it's important to kind of like break those sorts of phrases down, because it's like,
right.
What is love, first of all? And like, what does it look like to love yourself? What the heck does that even mean?
Yeah, you can just say that and people are like, yeah, sure, we hear it a million times. But for me,
I love myself. I love my hair. Like,
no, not in that way. Love is acceptance. And love and acceptance for yourself is the most healing thing. At the end of the day, that is what healing is loving and accepting all of the dark parts of yourself and just kind of surrendering it,
Yeah.
Go ahead.
That reminded me of a quote that I really liked.
Okay, go ahead.
That,
you got your quote.
I heard recently from the kind of controversial, but I think it has really good messages. The Kai Dickens podcast.
Oh, yeah. Telepathy tapes.
The telepathy tapes where...
Very good. You should watch it if you haven't.
Yeah. I can't remember who said it. Was it John Paul, maybe? One of the people on there is asked, what is love, or something along those lines, and they answer with anything that unifies.
Right.
And that, I love that definition of it.
Yeah, that's beautiful. In a practical sense, like some ways that you can learn to love yourself would be to look at the parts of you that you don't really like. Write them down. Like the parts of yourself that you judge, and really break those down and kind of change the story. This is a John Glanville thing. But anyway, you write down all of the negative stories and then you rewrite the stories in a positive light. And that helps you kind of reprogram those thought patterns. Some other ways that I would love myself, especially following my divorce, when you're alone, you feel really lonely and all that kind of stuff. I realized that I wanted to feel the same way that I did with a partner when I was on my own. And so I took myself out for little dates. I would, this is going to sound weird, but what I would do is I would lay and I would just like cuddle myself and just be like, I love you, man. Like, I love you. And the body scan meditation where you tell each part of your body that you love them, that you love that part of your body, and you feel the reaction your body has every time it's like, oh, I am loved, So yeah, those are some practical ways to start loving yourself. Cool. Treating yourself. We all know what's best for ourselves, but we constantly don't do what we should do. We think, oh, I shouldn't eat that. It's going to be really bad for me. And then we're like, whatever. It's like,
And then you're like, why did I do that?
Yeah, but when you have that story of this is bad for me and then you do it anyway, you're kind of telling your body, I don't care that that's not good for you. I'm going to do it anyway. And it's kind of like not self-sabotage, but like, I can't think of the words.
She can't think of the words.
I can't think of the words. What am I doing on a podcast? I can never think of the words.
Sorry.
All right. Yeah, I don't got words.
Well, I'm really excited to talk about this stuff with other people.
Yeah, I'm really excited to get started.
Yeah. So thanks for joining us.
Yeah, hopefully you'll check out our next episode, our first episode, which is going to be with Monica McIntyre.
Yeah.
McIntyre. Anyway, Yeah, hopefully, yeah.
Please join us again on the next episode of the Quiet Knowing podcast.
Yeah, thank you so much.